What's going on, everybody, man? Back again with another video, guys. This video is today, I'm gonna keep on doing the continuation of the ways that women in the society emasculate you, and the way emasculate you, especially as a man. Now, in the previous video, and if you haven't, please make sure you check it out, I mentioned on how, the society, it empowers the woman, right? It makes her feel like she's better than a man. It makes her think, and it programs her to think she's better than a man, but that's not how the natural circle of life works, And for any man who thinks he's better than a woman, or to any woman who thinks he's better than a man, then you're just lying to yourself. You're just full of crap, and you are really bullshitting. Because if you're really logical, and if you see how I see things, and if you think the way I think, you realize that actually, in reality, you cannot have one without the other. It's just like a chicken and the egg. We don't know which came fast, and we don't know which one is to go fast. But all we know is things are here now. In any, and I repeat, in any myth, in any history, in any teachings there is, you see that a man was created and a woman also was created from a man, right? But the man was not created to be above a woman. It was never that. Like, he was essentially actually never that. Even in the Bible, Adam was not essentially, he was not created to be above Eve. He was created to just lead and maintain, order in the world, on earth, before he fell. But like being above Eve, it was not the case. Like, no, there is nowhere in the Bible where the Bible, states that, a man is above a woman. It's actually, those things tend to appear, appear right after the fall of man, right after the man fell, and then the woman fell as well. That's when you see now God is like, okay, as a woman, you should be under a man, this and that. But in reality, you cannot think that you are better than something that literally is there to represent you, even though you're dating a woman, or even though you're not. The feminine is always there to represent the masculine. The femininity complements the masculinity. One cannot exist without the other. I cannot exist without the other. Without me, right? Even me that you guys are looking at right now. In order for me to exist, my father had to meet my mother. They have sex, and then I came forth, right? I came into being. I became a human form. I became a human being. So it is true that one needed the other for life to occur. Which is, what is life? I am life. You see me breathing, talking, I am life. That's me that got created, right? And I got created through my mom and my dad. Now you might say, how about God? Of course, God, he's the superior high being above all of us. But the reality is, here on earth, we do have, in African tradition, most of the African people, we do believe that their parents are the gods on this earth. They literally get together, they create, and anything they say, as much as we're still young, it tends to really shape our life. So if all you've been listening to, and all you've been hearing, is your mama telling you you ain't shit and you'll never be nothing, it's gonna be pretty, difficult for you to actually be somebody or be anything, unless if you really, 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 really disregard what your parents say. But most of the time, kids tend to listen deeply to what their parents say. When I was growing up, my mom used to tell me, every day, she used to say, You know, you should always remember you are your father. I know you're still young, but you are my man. You are your father. You know, you represent your father. So you cannot be acting like your sister. You cannot be acting like a little girl. You gotta be a man. You know, and I was young. I was really young, but you know, it was that belief that my mom installed in my brain that actually, you know, gave me life to actually know that even when I grew up to understand that, hey, listen, I cannot be just like, I can't be just, you know, like my sister. I cannot be like, you know, like my high school friends who were, you know, ladies at that time, you know. So I cannot behave, and I cannot gossip. I cannot be too much into that, you know, femininity shit. Why? Because my mom, you know, she told me that early on. Now, of course, she did not go in details, but she just said, listen, you cannot be like your sister. You are different from your sister. You literally are your father in a sense, you know. And it used to be like even in the kitchen. The reason why I didn't know how to cook for so long, now of course I know, but the reason why I didn't know how to cook for so long is because, again, every time I used to be in the kitchen, you know, listen to my mom and my sister talking and cooking. My mom, she used to literally like drag me outside and, and be like, listen, don't you be staying in the kitchen when there is women. You know, what are you trying to do? You trying to get greedy? You trying to be counting on the chicken that is in it? My mom, she was a top woman. You know what I'm saying? So rest in peace to the queen, you know. But like, hey, she formed. And not just that, but I remember one time. You know, like I was sitting and we was talking about, because we was from the funeral, and and there was a close friend that my mom knew. He had passed away. So my mom, you know, he was telling me, she was talking to me, you know, on how, like a man, you can't really fed. Like, not just how was, like, she didn't even say that it wasn't just her. It was actually some other women as well who they really believed, especially Africans, you know, they believe that women, like men, really do not fade, you know, because even if we go on, they say we have children, they say we have, you know, we will still relive in those children, you know. That's why you see men we had names. That's why you see, you know, women married to the man, and they all of a sudden they carry their name. So she used to say again, your sister will get married, your sister will find another man, and she will carry the name of the other man. But you, though, you got to keep on presenting. You have to be that sun that shines onto all of us, you know. So you have to be able to represent us. So it was these things that my mom consistently told me, you know, that actually today makes me what I am today. Now, of course, you know, I've learned a lot things along the way, but like, it is these things that today, that she told me today, that I actually look back and I'm like, you know what, actually it was true. You know, I cannot be, you know, screaming and fighting and doing all this crazy stuff to the woman that is not really my equal, you know. And again, like I mentioned from the beginning, we are not equal, but also we not like, I'm not your equal, you're not my equal, and I'm not better than you, and you're not better than me. We both complement each other, you know, meaning I cannot exist without you, and you cannot exist without me. And the life we can aspire to create cannot, and I repeat, cannot exist if we do not come together. You know, it's like one arm. If I cut off your right arm, you still you really, like, if the doctor doesn't take care of you, you're gonna die. You know, because there is no balance, right? If I took out your left eye, you're still not gonna feel as somebody good and better as somebody who has two eyes. If I cut off your one leg, you're gonna need something to hold you, right? So, you know, all this, you know, better and this and that, guys and ladies, you know, that's just the society, you know, teaching you how to be miserable, brainwashing you to be miserable. Because in the truth of beings, in the truth of things, being realistic, you will see and you will understand that actually the truth is we all need each other, you know. Now, and we all serve different purposes. you know, and we are here on this earth to accomplish different things. Of course, to enjoy life as well, but we got shit to do. That is not just cinemas and comedy and, you know, which is cool because I do all of that stuff, right? But like, there is always a purpose beyond what we simply do for fun. So if you like the video, stick around. Again, I did not break this shit down because I got deep, man. I got deeper, dog. So you like this, you like what you're hearing, support your boy. You know what I'm saying? This is my first video, and you guys gonna be my witness once, you know, shit do come up. I try to do some collabs with some homies, but not homies, but like, you know, some fellas. You know, but they didn't want me to be on that shit, you know what I'm saying? Because they know I'm afraid that will burn, you know? Because once I get to speaking, now I'm not going to say my animal, you know, I'm not going to be on that bullshit of saying, oh, my animal spirit, whatever, it's dragon. Nah, it's not. I'm not a Chinese. But when I speak, though, it's like God himself is speaking through me. You know, that's why I say, I'm the voice that frees you. So if you're here with me and if you support me, and let's grow and get better together. Alright? Thank you guys, and I'll see you on to the next one. Grand Rising.